is Montreal's Saint Laurent Boulevard, known by the locals simply as the Main. Now, historically, it was the dividing line between the French and English-speaking communities, but over time, it's become a corridor of sorts, used by the waves of immigrants who have come to settle here, making the Main the path to Montreal's many exciting cultures.
Chinatown. I would say it's a pretty French-looking Chinatown.
Sunny day in China.
Chinatown, very close to Old Montreal. You don't have to go that far at all. Actually, you can probably hit it on your way to Old Montreal.
As soon as you cross over from Old Montreal, you get into Chinatown. You can't really miss it with the big gate and lions guarding the road.
We're at the South Gate. Montreal's Chinatown is very, very small. It's about 4 blocks square. But despite that, we have the most gates of any Chinatown in Canada. And so we have a north, a south, an east, and a west gate. Most Chinatowns either have 1 gate or 2 gates. We have all 4. We also have a Twin City agreement with Shanghai since 1985. So these gates were a gift from Shanghai.
It's not the biggest in the country, but like the city itself, Montreal's Chinatown is one of the liveliest. The twin city to Shanghai, China, it has a style and a feel that make it distinct.
We were in Chinatown last night and my 7-year-old is, "Dad, this is just like it was in Beijing." I'm like, well, yes, some of the things are very similar.
In French, this area is known as Le Quartier Chinois, and it's best explored on foot, which is certainly not a problem here on Rue de la Gauchetière, which is closed off to traffic anyway.
It looks kind of cool. It's different and cool because it's a walk path. It's not like a road, whereas in Ottawa.
Looks like I found Chinatown. This Chinatown is badass. I'm gonna check this out.
Let's see what Chinatown Montreal has to offer.
We're in Chinatown right now, and it looks and it feels like it's the biggest community we've seen so far.
It feels big because it's really small. And what I mean is that all the other communities we've been talking about, they spread out after they came into the city, went to different areas. Chinatown has been here since the 1880s.
Chinatown was not always Chinatown. Actually, this area used to be known as Little Dublin. This was actually where the Irish first settled in the early 1800s, and they moved very quickly down into the southwest part of Montreal to build the Victoria Bridge and also to dig the Lachine Canal. So they moved out, and it was later that the Chinese actually moved into this area along with the Jewish population. This place over here with the green dormer windows, that was actually a synagogue. The first synagogue in Canada opened up in what is now Old Montreal in 1777, and this was the second synagogue to open up in Canada in the late 1800s.
Can you imagine a public school where French and English-speaking children of different faiths learn together? A group of prominent Montrealers had that vision 200 years ago.
This building, this was actually a school for the working class boys and girls.
In 1822, they founded the British and Canadian School to educate the children of all laboring people in the city. The architect of Notre Dame Basilica donated his time to design a fine stone building on La Gauchetière Street. The school moved into the new building in 1826, welcoming children from a spectrum of different backgrounds. The school was a virtual factory of learning, where everybody had a job to do. It reduced the need for teachers by using the older students as monitors to teach the younger ones. But the experiment in tolerance was not to last. The rebellions of 1837 to 38 smashed the fragile consensus on which the school was founded. French-speaking parents pulled their children out of the school. It was eventually absorbed into the Protestant School Board of Greater Montreal and closed its doors in 1894. Today, it's still standing in the heart of Chinatown. Now a noodle factory, it's the city's oldest purpose-built school.
Wing's Noodles moved in and became famous for making the world's only fortune cookies that are both kosher and bilingual. That and, of course, noodles. Lots and lots of noodles.
Wing's Noodles, an establishment which has been there since 1897.
And even today, after so many years, they still supply most of the noodles in Canada, Chinese noodles.
The street still has many old buildings which, if they could talk, would have 1,000 fascinating tales to tell.
The Chinatown in Montreal is a little bit different with the other cities. The Chinatown culture is different in Montreal.
Unlike other Canadian Chinatowns, there's a certain familiarity to this one. The fact is, it hasn't changed all that much over the years.
I have to say though, the main difference, there's no vegetable stall sellers. You know how they like prop out in the, oh, never mind, did I speak too soon? Look at that hall. Oh, okay, never mind, I take back that statement. Holy crap, this might be authentic.
Saint Laurent has all sorts of Asian businesses along it, but what you really need to do is hop onto Gauchetière. It's a tinier, pedestrian-only street that's packed with little shops and vendors selling things right on the street.
I wonder if those are real.
You can get anything from patio furniture and ornate boxes to clothes, gifts, souvenirs, or even hanging lanterns.
So this is the shop that would be a good one to go in. That's one of the bigger souvenir shops.
Can't go someplace without going to Chinatown, right? Check it out, bubble tea.
Look at this lineup.
This place was lined up when we were sat in, and now it's still lined up. Very popular drink.
Popular spot called Presso Tea, which has an assortment of bubble teas and cold drinks. Tom got a large, fresh mango slush, loaded with real mangoes. And I got the brown sugar panda milk tea.
Thank you.
Thank you. What did you get, Wendy?
Roasted oolong with tapioca.
Awesome. I like these like mason jar looking things.
They're cute.
Matcha Zuki bubble tea with tapioca balls.
How is it?
Very good.
Now this looks different. Dragon's beard candy.
Dragon's beard candy. This is unique, and Johnny Chin makes it. He's been making it here for about 18 years. It's very unusual.
In the old day, it was only served the Emperor of China and the royal family.
Before coming to Canada, he was an actor in Cantonese movies. He was a tour guide and a police officer in Hong Kong. He learned to make it at a time when there was less than 10 people in the world that knew how to make it. And he came back to Montreal and started making it here in 1990, the first year.
We are making this candy out of this sugar of corn syrup. From this, we're going to put it into 8,192 strands. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 52, 1,024, 2,048, 4,096. We double for the last time. We have 8,192 strands. Inside, you put in peanut, sesame, coconut, chocolate. You put the whole piece in your mouth one shot, and then you don't talk.
These are great.
We just got our dragon beard candy. When you first put it in your mouth, it tastes like a powdery spool of thread, and then all of the threads start to melt, and then you're left with this hard piece of candy and tastes like sesame.
Oh, that's confusing. It tastes really good though.
Yeah.
I feel like I was eating clothes almost.
We actually got the chance to walk through Chinatown in Montreal quite a bit, and I was super impressed by how much representation of Chinese culture they had there.
Look, they're doing Fallen Dappa. Gotta get it on video so that I remember how to do it. Oh, see, I do it totally wrong.
We're gonna head over to do some free Tai Chi and burn off some fat. Word of advice, you might not want to try this after eating 3 hot dogs and 4 pastries. I could barely bend over.
There's also Sun Yat-sen Park, which has this cool temple-looking structure where you can get some bright and colorful kites.
Yat Lo has been an active part of Chinatown and the Chinese community for years. He moved here with his family 40 years ago and remembers when Montreal's Chinatown was actually bigger than Toronto's.
When I came here, I was 8 years old. Actually, the first day I arrived in Canada was, I remember, March 7th. That was one of the worst snowstorms ever. And in Hong Kong, you don't see a drop of snow. All of a sudden, you come into the country, everything's white and the snow is taller than you.
For new immigrants, Montreal was seen as the most welcoming and supportive city in the country, a place that made it easier to bring family members to Canada.
Many Chinese people first went to Montreal for a very specific reason. The French people in Quebec, the Quebecois, were more receptive.
They settled here and established a permanent presence, redefining the city's cultural and architectural landscape. With many in the community not just bilingual, but multilingual. In 1979, a huge demographic shift That's when Canada accepted more than 50,000 Vietnamese refugees. They were known as the Boat People, who were themselves an incredibly diverse group. That influx would change the face of Montreal's Chinatown forever.
From Vietnam, from Cambodia, Laos, the pho restaurant that started developing there.
Instead of just having dim sum, fly noodles, now we're getting more Vietnamese style.
The changes are reflected everywhere, in the shops and restaurants and other businesses that have sprung up and continue to flourish. When you think of Montreal's Chinatown, the first thing that probably comes to mind is the great food. And trust me, that reputation is well deserved.
If you go to Montreal, it's one of the best food cities in general in North America.
Not many people know this, but Vietnamese food is very good in Montreal, and this is one of the best places, so never judge a book by its cover. I'm about to show you how good it is.
It's so good. Maybe the very best Vietnamese food I've ever eaten in my life.
Ooh, that looks good. Dumplings.
So I'm gonna try on the pork dumplings in here. Let's have a look, Rhonda.
I hope their dumplings are the same as my dumplings. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
They're big, right?
They're massive.
She said to me, do you want the small dumplings? I said yes.
That's the small. Wow.
Qing Hua Dumpling. They make some of the best authentic dumplings in Montreal. We got 15 steamed shrimp, pork, and leek dumplings, which were overflowing and tasted phenomenal.
We're gonna get peanut butter dumplings. Ooh.
This Chinese-Canadian dish is a local specialty. It first made its appearance in Montreal during the 1980s.
Here's something Canada did invent: peanut butter.
In the late 19th century, Marcellus Gilmore Edson from Montreal patented an edible spread made of roasted peanuts ground into a semi-fluid and mixed with sugar.
Peanut historians have determined that in 1884, Edson was the first to file a patent for what we would now know as peanut butter.
We had the option of getting the dumplings fried or steamed, and we ordered steamed. The first thing I feel is that peanut sauce. It's a little bit sweet, peanutty, and then that melts away. And then what you have left is that dumpling. The ending flavor is the meat.
Hello. Just for one. Smells delicious. I'm totally unbiased when I say this, but that was actually probably the second best bowl of pho I've ever had, if not the first.
AllenZ. This place is tiny, but it's so good.
You can even watch them make the noodles to order in the front window, so you know that they're fresh.
These people are professionals.
These guys never smile, but I gotta tell you, this guy, when he started working here, he used to smile, but he stopped. If people don't know, noodles do not come from Italy.
No.
Look at this. Done. That's one of the best noodle places in Chinatown.
What are these called? Hand-pulled noodles? I really like these noodles, actually. They're really thick.
The best wonton in town. So Dad was studying at McGill when he was young, and he would walk over here and get some wonton soup.
Next up was some Kim Fung dim sum. How could we eat more, you ask? How could we not eat more is the real question. The best way to eat dim sum is with a group of friends. That way you can each order something and then share it with each other. We pretty much got one of everything. They were all great, but my favorite by far was the fried squid. Chewy deliciousness.
Fried rice, chow mein, general miso, and spare ribs. Good? It's really good?
It's really good.
That's good.
How is it? Better than...
Yo, it's so good.
Yeah?
It's like heaven. Yummy? Isn't it? Heaven?
We kind of ate a lot.
Kind of? We ate a lot.
Okay, we ate a lot.
After that delicious meal, we made our way over to another place called Patisserie Harmonie for some tasty sweets.
Oh, this is dangerous. I'm scared. This looks awesome.
They've got a million of them. My favorite are the ones with custard or coconut. You really can't go wrong. They're all delicious. 77 cents US.
We saw something yesterday and we wanted to make one more stop to close out the night.
Right next to the bakery, there's a bao bao place, and they have these really cute baos in the shape of tons of different things. Oh my god, they're so cute.
You see the froggy? Where?
Oh my goodness. What in the world?
Daddy, look at these smile face.
Oh, they cute? Do you want to eat them? Oh, look at this smile face.
I like the froggy.
Which one's the froggy?
This one.
This one?
The green one.
Have you found something?
A Doraemon!
What's the cheesecake?
No, it has red beans.
See, Hello Kitty. Yeah, this is a dessert one.
French custard or something like that.
This is my Hello Kitty one that I just took a bite out of. Custard.
Yum.
Oh, so cruel.
So cute! Angry Bird. Inside is chocolate. Take a peek.
Oh, strawberries.
Oh, that's real good.
Oh my gosh.
Now that's what I call a Chinatown.
And just like that, I'm stuffed.
Stuffed.
I don't know, we might have to spend another day out here.
No, for real. I'm kind of thinking about it. Do you want to stay?
Yeah, let's stay. Add another day to the vlog. Day 4.
Day 4.
Like, I really want to eat more, but I'm pretty full.
I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on our lovely food adventure in Montreal. It was super tasty. My goodness, Montreal, you all know how to throw a party with food. Let me just tell you, there were so many places that Wendy and I wanted to try out. We were just way too full.
Montreal is a unique because Montreal, I think, is one of the few successful revitalized Chinatown.
Development always creates challenges. How to make room for the new while preserving the old. So far, the community has done a pretty good job of meeting that challenge.
After an outcry over developers buying up historical buildings in Montreal's Chinatown, Mayor Valérie Plante has called on the Quebec government to designate the city's Chinatown as a historical site.
Forging a new future, but at the same time, working hard to preserve the past. That's kind of what a former prime minister had in mind when he talked 40 years ago about what the country might look like one day.
One thing Canada is different from, for example, United States, is because United States is a melting pot, everybody becomes American. Canada works the opposite way. It's multicultural, thanks to Mr. Trudeau. Every nation gets to retain their own culture.
So many people were affected by COVID. Business is super tough in Chinatown especially. So you guys, if you are hungry, go eat in Chinatown. The food is the bomb.
We have the fortune cookie jar. Mamio got one. What is your fortune?
Vous n'êtes jamais embrouillé dans ce que vous faites.
Actually, there's an English translation. You are never confused with what you're doing. That's me. In all honesty, you may not be confused with what you do, but sometimes I'm confused with what you do.